What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Two Fun Guys. I'm Tony.
I'm Brent.
Neil.
What's up, everyone? So today we have a great guest, Neil Dumra. He's the owner of Third Eye Meditation Lounge and Third Eye Cacao. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So glad to meet y'all and connect online here. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, dude. Super happy to have you here.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about what the intention is behind the lounge and the cacao company that you've built out here?
So the intention was, and it's always a continuous thing. It's like art. I see it, is to be able to find a peace in a very busy space. So that's the initial thing was I first created the lounge across the street from the Whole Foods downtown East Side. And that was difficult. Like, I was like, wow, I came from a Vipassana and I was like, I'm going to do this. It was just difficult. So then we moved to Casa de Luz, which is already a very meditative environment. If you're from Austin, you know, it's a 40-year-old macrobiotic village. And that's when the actual lounge took place. And I got to create my art and create my way of bringing hospitality and bridging Vedic science with Amazonian plant medicine and all sorts of things. So the intention was to create a third space. So third eye, third space, a place where people can connect, meditate, contemplate, concentrate, learn how to evolve. And we do that in community, especially like in tribes back in the day. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought, let's create a space where people can do that work and evolve and connect in community and also use like this heart medicine as a process to do that. So that's kind of how it all began. And one thing led to another, one door opened another.
Was Cacao before wanting to open a lounge? Was like Cacao
it
part
was
of your life?
It was so funny. No, like I was working for the Rainforest Partnership at the time. I already had Third Eye Tonic and I already was doing cacao.
Okay.
So it was kind of such a synchronistic thing where I had 3 full-time jobs as I was starting this business. I was hustling like a crazy person.
What were you doing?
I was a general manager of a hotel.
Okay.
I was event manager of the Springdale Station. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Next to
No.
But the pickleball place on the east side,
Mm-hmm.
it's a wedding venue.
Oh.
And then I was also the director of impact for the Rainforest Partnership. So I was learning how to source cacao, learning all sorts of things about the soil, and my passions just kind of like I was moving so fast. It was just like things started happening very quickly, and cacao became this octane where I stopped drinking coffee. I started doing all these different things, you know, experiencing and integrating with plant medicine. I actually had a tragic accident, lost part of my finger.
Wow.
And then I was actually in Costa Rica and at a cacao farm and drinking this cacao. And I was like in the jungle, in nature. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa, people need to experience this. Like if people in America got out of their heads and just got into their heart space and just started dancing more, I feel like this could be really good for the world. And that's kind of how it started.
Can you describe your first experience with cacao?
Yeah. So I, actually, it's funny. When I lost part of my finger, I took mushrooms for 90 days.
90 days?
Afterwards?
Yeah. Microdosed.
Okay, yeah.
And I took a day off in between. But I was just like, and I went inward. I left my family's business and I was just in this this new space. And then I was in Costa Rica. And all of a sudden I went to a cacao farm. I had this cacao. I was still microdosing and the cacao just enhanced the mushroom experience like 10x. And I was like, whoa, this is like a beautiful combination. And yeah, I remember just wearing a Speedo and a fanny pack and Vibrams and just running around through the jungle. Like, and I could run so quickly without hurting myself because I was in this quantum field, you know? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cacao with mushrooms is magical.
It's such a good combo.
Yeah, it's such a good combo.
One time I went to do jujitsu and I drank a good amount of cacao, took a little microdose, and I swear I was...
Dude, I gotta tell you something.
I was superhuman.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a true story. Last Friday, me and my partner, Leia, went to the pickleball club on some of that Emerald Gates I was telling you about.
Mm.
And just a microdose, you know. I mean, it was a little bit more than a microdose. And we played pickleball, and the first 3 games, I don't think they scored a point. Like, we were just so focused.
So on it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it does work that way.
What made you do mushrooms for 90 days after you lost your finger?
I realized why I lost my finger. There was a $5 million contract that I had that spent the whole year working on, and then there was a bunch of mistakes at the end, and I was thinking about it while I was wake surfing, and I was disassociated, and I was realizing like I wasn't in my purpose. I wasn't on purpose, and I was out of body having these experiences, and so I needed a ground, and that's kind of how mushrooms came into my life.
Did you lose your finger wake surfing?
I actually, the rope got caught around my arm. I
Yeah.
pulled my arm back, and the finger came right. You know, when the boat's tension is just perfect.
Yep.
It was like, and I know it's crazy. Like, it was actually a sign of God saying, "Let go."
Literally let go.
Literally let go, like of a business, of a passion that wasn't mine. All sorts of things. So,
Now you got me paranoid, dude. We're going wake surfing tomorrow. So,
dude, you're totally fine. I actually love to wake surf still, and there was no reason other than my own inability to be coherent. So you get to own that, you know, some days.
There's just stuff you're not supposed to do. I got yelled at last time I went. Like, you don't want to wrap it around your hand or like hold it in a certain hand, right? Like, you want to make sure you throw it to the side. Because the guy was telling me, he's like, bro, you could have had your arm ripped off. Because you're like, oh, I'm just going to hold on to it by like kind of wrapping it around or stuff like that. And you just, if you just keep it in front, throw it, you're fine.
My thing, I live on a lake. I used to do lots of this. It wasn't even that. It was more so I wasn't even being in it, you know?
Yeah.
You were completely just out of
Yeah.
body.
I was just like, whatever. I've done this my whole life. Not a big deal.
yeah, just unconscious about
And
it.
I actually took it for granted. Which don't want to do that.
I want to touch on this because I'm always trying to get off coffee, specifically more like caffeine, but I kind of like go back and forth between regular caffeine and coffee and back and forth. So you find that this can be a good way to get off of it. Do you have a protocol to get off coffee? And what did you experience going from drinking coffee to just cacao?
So I still drink coffee. In fact,
Okay.
Jack Savage, everyday dose, he comes in, he gives me a bunch of his coffee. I
nice.
drink it once a week. I love it.
Okay, once a week. Nice.
Yeah. But for me, cacao is one of those things where I get in touch with spirit every day. It becomes a ritual and it allows me to utilize my own life force energy rather than borrowing from tomorrow. And so I feel nothing wrong with caffeine. And when you're needing it and it's good for you and your body's alkaline and whatever, fine, have some. But I don't think it's something that we need to rely on over time. I think it creates more cortisol, more oxidative stress, more acid in the body.
I think it's a plant that's very powerful and has a lot of useful tools, but it's not supposed to be used daily.
That's right. I think that's, and also you want to use it for things outside of work too, because then you can actually access the beautiful parts of coffee.
Yeah.
Because when you're just sitting there with coffee in your body, the octane is literally going to your dualistic mind, which is right, wrong, good, bad.
Yeah.
When you're in this coffee or this cacao place, you're literally putting the octane into your heart, which softens the fascia, the tissue, literally puts oxytocin, which makes you happy, all this joyful energy. Think about working with that energy and having more coherence and all sorts of things.
Could you tell us more about the breakdown molecularly between the two? Because I know coffee and cacao have similar compounds, like they both have caffeine and theobromine, or bromine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that right? But it's like different amounts. Is that
It's
right?
like they're basically antithesis of each other.
Oh, they're flipped.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like coffee. And it also depends on each person's way of making their product. Like if you know Brian Johnson's cacao,
Yeah.
Yep.
that cacao is not cacao paste. It's cacao powder. It's still good. It's just has 30% fat. This has 50% fat. So the flavonols, antioxidants, and this actually has less heavy metals per amount of cacao than that. So not to compare, it's not one better or worse, but it's like the process of how you make it and how you serve it. Same with coffee. It's like the way you take the extract. If it's an extract and then you're taking the caffeine and making it more, then it's not whole. You really want to take the plants and keep it as together as possible. That way your body can receive it in the most, with the most resonance of the nervous system. I don't know if that makes sense, but just like water, when we drink water that comes straight from the earth, put it in glass and it has a different vibration to it. So like everything has a vibration. Coffee, this, that, whatever. If you source things that are sourced for sustainability, it literally allows sustainability to enter you too. It's kind of crazy. But
So this is a paste.
this is funny. Yeah. So this is actually, it sounds like powder, but this is what our patented formula is. We take paste, we make it into powder without removing the fat.
Okay, nice.
Interesting.
So this could be almost like a good meal
That's right. It's got the fat, the nutrients,
Wow.
everything.
Can you tell us more about these?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's going on in these cans?
Yeah. So this one, we've got 5 different ones in these elixir forms. This has adaptogens and cacao paste. That's it. No sugar, no preservatives, nothing. You just add this with hot water. You have to use hot water because you have to melt the cacao butter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this one's for testosterone boosting and also just like doing energy. So if you want to get into your masculinity, get some shit done, it's got pine pollen, maca, and shilajit. And so that, and also chicory. So this stuff is not just for men, it's for men and women. It's just when you want to get into that energetic. And the grounded presence is like for gut healing. It's got 4 different types of mushrooms and pure cacao. So
Damn, that's a good job on those blends.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I did create the space before I created the brand. And so the space was there, the meditation center was there, the elixir bar was there. It was just like we were learning how to do all this for years, actually, 7 years. So now we've kind of got some things down.
So when you prepare it other than hot water, I know when I would have cacao, I'd have to emulsify it or I'd have to like blend it to make it actually kind of like break up into the water. Do you need to do that with this?
If you have hot water and a frother, it'll smoothen out.
Frother's enough.
Frother's enough. We at the lounge have a homogenizer, which is using sound and vibration. So it's not even using a blender. It's just using this wand that can actually even make saffron into nanotechnology. So it's like pretty cool. But our drinks are special, you know. So that's why you got to come to the lounge. But this you can make with a blender or a frother. You don't need anything special. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like in traditional like Guatemala or whatever, they just take cacao paste. They take one of those hand mixers and they literally mix it that way. And you get a little bit of the cacao at the bottom, but it's okay. Yeah. If you want it perfect, like a latte at Starbucks, then you need a blender.
Make it a little more frothy. Do you have things you love to add to it? People like if they're making it at home?
So we add coconut butter, that mana, which is super good for the brain. It's like that brain fat. We also sometimes add cacao butter. I love maple cream, which maple cream is like, it's like the mana of maple syrup.
Is it like maple butter?
It's like maple butter.
I love maple butter.
Man.
So
Maple
much.
butter.
We have it in the fridge.
Really?
Yeah.
All
Dude,
right.
maple butter is on a level. In fact, I got another product that I'm coming out, separate company.
Cool.
It's called Maple Daddies.
Maple Daddies.
It's kind of like Honey Mamas, but with a different twist.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pure ceremonial cacao with maple cream.
Dude, I'm sold.
Yeah, right?
I'll be your first customer.
Yeah, and we're also doing I don't know if you've heard of the Dubai viral chocolates.
Yeah.
We're going to do one like that too,
But with
maple cream.
maple cream.
Wait, so what
Nice.
what are those Dubai chocolates? I've never heard of them.
Remember kanafe?
Mm-hmm.
We ate it when my cousin was here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a chocolate with kanafe on top.
Holy shit.
And pistachio.
Yeah.
And it's super yummy.
Wow.
Yeah. And people are selling them online like for $50 a bar. It's crazy.
Yeah. I tried it. Wasn't impressed.
I actually made my own version of it and I was impressed.
Yeah, you were impressed.
Yeah, I
It's
was
probably
like-
better if you.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
got to use the right ingredients. A lot of
Mhm.
times people don't understand this thing, you know. It's okay. I'm a little biased.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're at home making cacao, I'm sure you use like some of these as well. Like, do you have like your go-to cocktail or like different things that you add into it that's like Neil's personal blend?
So like my business model is unique. It's unique in the way that, you know, we want everyone to start drinking cacao,
Mhm.
like get off the coffee, heal your adrenals, get more vagal toned, if you know what that means, like be in your center.
Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So our vagus nerve, which is our main vein, the more vagal toned we become, the more we realize with our whole being that we are beyond survival. And the more we are beyond survival, we're in our thrival. And when we're in our thrival, we're more heart open, more relaxed. And it's like we release that warrior energy that we all carry unconsciously. And so being vagal toned allows you to just be in your center and feel good more often. That's kind of what it is. Yeah. Yoga does that. Meditation does that. Marijuana does that. All sorts of things, you know. But there's also healing that requires that too. So you want to like actually stimulate your vagus nerve to a point where you release oxytocin in places where you may be holding trauma. So when we're born, that's when we're the most connected to this earth and our body's the most viscous, our blood's the most connected. And we kind of want to go back into those spaces so we can have rebirths often. We're always becoming new in some ways.
So somebody listening to this, if they got this, are they just good to go and try it? Or is it better to go to something like a cacao ceremony and
You know,
be able to feel that in a space being held? Or
this is not like a plant medicine that can hurt you in any way. If you have opportunities to go to a cacao ceremony, I highly recommend doing that. But if not, you can definitely have a cacao ceremony at home. It's really about setting your intentions, opening up the heart, connecting to yourself and others. And it's not that hard.
that's really cool.
I suggest doing it regardless.
Just get the cacao in you in some way.
Yeah. Even if you are mixing it with coffee, it's still better. Like 1 cup of coffee requires 32 glasses of water to balance your internal pH. So
Wow.
it's like we're all kind of borrowing from tomorrow when we're doing it too often. So it's
How much does a cup of cacao take? How much
doesn't
water?
take.
Doesn't take any.
It doesn't because it's alkaline. It's got the
Oh,
fat.
okay,
It's got the nutrients. It's different. Actually, you drink this every day for a month, it will literally double your stem cells. It's a proven fact. Yeah, I didn't.
Well, I'll let you know. I'm going to try to switch to this instead of caffeine for a while and see if I can make the jump. Because that's the problem with like trying to come off coffee. Then you switch to like maybe just matcha. But because you're missing some of that mood elevation that you get from the coffee plant, which this has in it, it sounds like in way more abundance, it's that hard gap to jump.
So this is how I see it. I love what you're saying there. It's that. I say release the duality with coffee and cacao. Let them be. Let them be and honor them together or separately. And even honor yourself when you need it. So it's not like, it's like the nuance, like of life. Why we even talk about unity consciousness. What this helps us is connect with your pineal and pituitary gland, which allows light to flow into you without having to ignite your octane the same way. So when you think about it, literally, you'll start to realize with your real eye, like how much energy you already have. Like we actually have a lot more energy in our body than we're actually aware of. So it's kind of funny how when you start igniting different parts of your energy, it's like contralateral movement. We start to realize our Kundalini energy is always moving and coffee is not doing more good for activating just this part,
I love that. Do you have, when taking this, people are taking it home or we're going to take it, are there practices you like to add in either at home or, whether it's going to like a yoga class that combine really well and some like thoughts behind that?
Yeah. I say drink some cacao, set your intentions, journal, like write your thoughts. Also set some visions. If you're into visioning, I think that's super good. If you have energy to work out or move your body, like utilize it for that. I even say dance. It's super important to dance and just move. I think most people don't even know how much they're carrying. So when I think about it, like most humans have these things called layers of compensation.
Okay.
And so when we start to meet ourselves where we're at, rather than trying to just run away from it, it allows our consciousness and our energy to go from here to here to here. And then all of a sudden we have a different lens and perspective. So what I say is find that lens, like find your consciousness change instead of just going out and just being like, what's up? Getting vigilant, like finding a way to just get calm and peaceful more often. And cacao kind of helps you do that with more grace and ease.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I say,
we're going to go wake surf tomorrow. So we'll cacao it up.
Load up on the cacao before we head out.
I know also it's a strong, high in magnesium and strong vasodilator.
Yeah.
So helps with blood flow increase.
Totally. That's what I'm saying. The stem cells. Also, these ceremonial cacao, why is it ceremonial? Like, do you know that 90% of the cacao in the world is not ceremonial? And what makes this ceremonial? Well, it's the genetics. So these genetics are old genetics that have these actual medicinal properties, tons of polyphenols and antioxidants that literally make you happy. And it goes back to even Vedic times where Ananda mind or Ananda means bliss. So that you actually feel bliss in your body in a different way more often.
So you're saying that ceremonial cacao comes from very specific cacao plants. And then there's
genetics of cacao.
Specific genetics of cacao. So it's like certain regions would have ceremonial
Not just
cacao.
regions. Yes, regions.
Okay.
But it's also like how the plant has been protected within those trees, like the heirloom. And there's about 13 different types of species that we know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then there's other cacao that's just cacao that's not
In the
ceremonial.
1970s, Mars went to work and created genetically modified cacao that's huge. There was an 80% shortage of cacao growth this year that comes from Africa. And that's like majority where cacao is grown.
Oh.
And it's because cacao, when it's done agriculturally, it's pulling water, and there's a water shortage, rainfall. So it's like these things, you're messing with the earth in some ways when you're doing it that way. So anyways, that's
Did you go into, you're getting it from the Amazon?
Yeah.
Did you go into the Amazon and
Mhm.
source it yourself?
Oh yeah.
How often do you go down to source?
I'm trying to go at least once a year, but I want to live there eventually. That's my
What
goal.
part? Where?
I like to live in Guatemala at some point, Ecuador.
What part of Guatemala?
He lived in Guatemala for a while.
Oh yeah.
Lake Atilan?
Yeah, Lake Atlan's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember Keith?
Yeah. He died
Yeah.
this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Died in January.
Yeah. I'd go sit on his porch sometimes.
Yeah.
Did you do the area like
Yeah.
work energy with people and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a magical place.
I know Josh. You know Joshua? He's from Austin.
Okay, no, I don't think so. It's been like 8 years since I've been
Okay.
down there.
The dance temple was started by a guy from Austin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The guy at Dance Temple.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. It's a beautiful place. And I source cacao from Guatemala as well.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's good. Guatemalan cacao is very different. Like everything is so different. The nuance of cacao is what I love about it. It's like,
Yeah.
there'll be weeks where I only drink one cacao. And it's like right now I'm only drinking Venezuelan cacao.
Seems like you could be a sommelier of cacao.
So I was a sommelier in wine, the hospitality world,
Mhm.
and I realized wine is something I can't consume, just the way it's grown and everything else. The only one I can really like is dry farms, and even then, I don't know. But like quality in terms of things, I'm a qualitarian. So it's like, yes, sommelier, but qualitarian is kind of what I like.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that word.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look for quality, you'll never be at odds with anything.
Mm.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not like vegan or I'm not this. I'm a qualitarian. If
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not even like against any animal. Like if it's fed with love,
Mhm.
I will eat it. That's it.
That's a beautiful
Oh yeah,
quality.
I'm going to steal that.
Yeah,
that's
we're
good.
still in it.
Yeah.
Qualitarians.
Totally.
Started the movement.
Yeah.
Because it makes so much sense. It's like, why limit yourself or put yourself in a box of this thing only and not this thing? Open yourself to all of it, but only take the top 10%.
yes.
it's available to you.
And it's healthier.
Yeah.
Think about it as a baseline, it's healthier.
Yeah.
And for you, you're going to I like to feed my inner child often. That's why I wear things like this is because it's comfortable, and it's also, we need to do that more often. as
Shout out to
humans.
Aviator Nation.
Yes.
Very nice corduroy jumpsuits.
Give me more of these. Can you make more of these?
We need a custom 2 foot.
Yeah, we
guys.
need a new drop of the
Yeah, new
of
drop.
the jumps.
I mean, we're always trying to launch different products. We sell a couple random things on Amazon. So I'm always curious about the process of bringing a product to market
Oh yeah.
and thoughts about maintaining that qualitarianness
Yeah.
to the product and kind of walking us through how
That's a good
entrepreneurs should really think about that.
point. Hmm. I think, I was fortunate enough to be able to scale my business in a way that was very much like comfortable, and it didn't happen quicker than it needed to. I have a beautiful partner who helps me a lot. He understands that this cacao business is sensitive and sourcing is the most important thing. So we actually take care of everything from the manufacturing to the shipping to everything. We do it all in-house. I think that's important. If you really care about something, you don't want to outsource some of those stuff. And yeah, I think I can't sell anything I don't love. That's just it. So everything at the lounge we source is something that I'm going there and making and consuming. And that's like a real important thing for me. And I think that's important in general. If you're consuming something, it's a consumable, and then you're sharing with other people. So this energy, in that too. What I always say is, if you're passionate about something, that's the only when you should create. Otherwise, there's enough stuff out there in the world. And if you were going to bring it to market, it has to have a reason and purpose. That's the only way it'll have sustainability in the marketplace. I've done most of my stuff organically. In fact, I haven't paid Meta until this last month, which is kind of cool,
That's really great.
Yeah. I appreciate Meta now because I'm seeing the traction.
Yeah, it definitely has a purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. But I say do things organically and be close to your project, take time away from it, but be intimate with whatever you're creating. And I think then you'll love it forever, That's how I see it.
Yeah, really having that energy and spirit behind it.
Totally. Like we literally grind cacao every Monday, and it's like there's an energy to it, like it makes our Mondays awesome because we get to smell this aroma, and it's like, it's beautiful. It's an experience, and the lady who does the grinding and the team, she's part of the Daime church. So she's doing ayahuasca often, and she's like always in prayer, and you can feel it, it's really special.
Yeah. I bet she puts the best intention and the best energy into everything that she's doing with the cacao. And yeah, you're going to taste that.
Yeah.
Once it gets in your hands in a cup.
That's it. I think that's when you don't have to question your thing because you're not in question anymore. You're like, this is the answer. Let's go to market. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny. People ask like, well, how can I be more confident in XYZ? It's like, well, just do it fully authentically.
Do it until you've been hurt enough in it, and then you fix your wounds, and you're like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. We've been told through our entrepreneur journey of launching different products, find products that are going to sell and fit the market. But I feel like maybe you feel this way too. Like my gut is we have to be behind something I actually really care about and are super fans of. And when we didn't do that, it just really, unless you're, I don't know, you're very technical and mechanical, I think it's hard to actually grow a vision unless you really have part of your heart and spirit into the thing that you're trying to grow.
I think that's 100% true. For me, I started this out as a brand. Then I went back into a brick and mortar focus, and that was what helped me develop my heart in it. It was like, oh, I'm here every single day, showing up, and that was a process. It like humbled me in so many ways, where I was like, oh, I actually love what I do, and I love creating this thing. And it's an energy, it's a consciousness that's it's got its own thing. It's got its own legs.
Well, if we ever make our mushroom products, you would be great to source cacao using your cacao.
Let's do it. I actually do that for a lot of companies. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have. I just had a cool order come in yesterday for a company that has 5,000 salespeople, and we private label product for them. And we're not here to just be Third Eye. We'd love to spread Third Eye as big as we can, but we want to share cacao mostly, and that's it.
Yeah, there's something so magical, like we talked about already, but adding mushrooms to cacao, and then especially if it's this level of cacao, that's why there's so many people trying to sell mushroom products, and you'll come across somebody and it'll come from Cali or this or that, but I don't know. There's something to be said where it's like, I need to know the guy who grows the mushrooms. I need to know the strain. I need to know the energy and intention behind it. I also need to know the cacao they sourced it from, because it's just not the same.
It isn't.
It's like buying mushrooms from Whole Foods, and it's like, a 360 brand. It's like, it's fine, but it's completely different.
It is different. It's different too, because we all understand hierarchy, right? And in hierarchy, when something gets sold or bought, people realize the passion, or the person who created it may have lost their ability to own in on the thing what created it, and so I really love founders who stick with their principles and some of the things that made them successful in the first place. And like even Wyo, the guy who owns Casa de Luz, he literally sticks to the principles that keep him, sustainable in some ways. Same thing goes, is like, I don't care how big the company gets. The most important thing is we stay in integrity what we're creating. Like that's it. Doesn't matter,
Yeah.
All these other things are sensational anyways, So
yeah, the goal is not money. It's let it grow as much as it wants to grow, as long as I'm maintaining the quality and the intention and the love behind it.
I don't want it. Like, I see so many things and I'm like, what are these ingredients? This product used to be so good. And then all of a sudden they've got some added things, and it's like, what?
That always happens to salsa brands. It always pisses me off.
They start sneaking shit in there.
I always find a good salsa brand, small batch, then it moves to another company. Now it's in plastic, and then it goes even bigger. Now it's in Costco, and the tomatoes taste like water. I'm always so sad at that point.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a trend.
Yeah. What other products? I think you told us a couple. You have other products in addition?
Okay, so in the cacao thing, I have the adaptogens and the elixirs. So this is what that is. I got a few other ones. Goddess Feels, Gentle Activation, which we're drinking, and Spicy Mind. And then we've got, for the connoisseurs like you who've been to Guatemala, who understand cacao, who understand sourcing, we've got direct to farm blocks and pure cacao paste. So we've got that. If you want to just work with pure 100% cacao, you want to chop it up yourself, you want to feel the essence of it in your own hands, that's for the connoisseurs. And so we source that too. Yeah.
It's been so long since, I used to come back with bars and whatnot. When you're making ceremonial on your own with a block, how much is it that you use?
So what I
remember?
Yeah. I it's like between 28 and 44 grams. That's the technical ceremonial dose. What I like to do is just take my thumb and use that amount. Like if I were to take this much cacao, that's what a drink would be.
Same width and length?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that-ish. I just cut up a bar, chop it up a little finely, and throw it in a drink.
Okay, nice. And you just let it kind of slow cook, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just let it melt in the water.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just mix it up.
Can you talk about for someone who's maybe never done a cacao ceremony, obviously very different from a psychedelic ceremony or some kind of plant medicine. So what can someone expect if they go into a cacao ceremony? What would the experience be like?
Yeah. So it's kind of like doing breath work or meditation or any of those type of things where your consciousness has a shift, like an internal feeling where you're like, oh, you may have a realization, or you may even cry. You may have an emotion. So it's kind of, it like lets us get out of this thinking space and into this feeling space. So that's kind of, what people could expect potentially. And with that, you can utilize that energy for whatever you want to apply it to. So if you need to process something, a lot of times people are under-processed, where they're doing rather than being enough. So this allows you to get into that being space. So you could expect a little bit less activity, less vigilance, and more just chilling out a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then in terms of ceremony, I've got a bunch of different ways people can ceremony. We even have it talked about on the website. But even if you can't go to a ceremony, if you're in a small town where they don't talk about cacao ceremonies, you can go to a yoga class anywhere and take a cacao with you and tap into your body and do that work. It's like we don't have to glorify anything. And in fact, Keith, talk about Keith's cacao. He's the person who invented the word ceremonial cacao. Literally.
Oh, wow.
Like ceremonial cacao isn't a thing. Like ceremonial matcha is also, it's a thing in the sense like there's a high grade in it. But it's ceremony. That's the thing. When we're in ceremony, it's just these all sorts of plants that are present. There's all sorts of elements that are present. And in that, it's about setting the intention, the set and setting, going inwards, and then the cacao is just part of it. It's a part of the ceremony, essentially. And having that circle and connection and everything else. So
yeah, I'm going to be drinking the shit out of this. I'll report back to you later and know how it goes.
Yeah, 30 days of doing this to see how you feel.
I have a bunch of clients right now trying to get off coffee, and it's such a strong struggle. So this would be a perfect thing to have them switch over, especially the gut one.
We should have got you guys as ambassadors before, affiliates.
It's not too late.
I mean, moving forward, we'll do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, we can talk about podcast sponsorship. We'll see.
What are you still microdosing mushrooms?
It's now, so no, it's not like I have a protocol or anything. I'm more so it's a feeling. If I would like to explore mushrooms at times, and there's times when I do, but I don't macrodose at all. It's very micro, nowadays. But it's not like a scheduled thing. There's some other plants I've been I've been intentionally consuming.
Yeah, like what?
So there's one that I had with some friends a few months ago that was amazing, like 10 hours of singing all night. Amazing.
All right.
And it's called LSA. So Hawaiian Woodrose, which is truth serum. It's what the government uses to get truth from people. And it's amazing. It's kind of have you seen Meet the Parents too? Ben Stiller?
Yeah.
When Jack injects him with that?
Yeah.
And he just tells all this stuff. So it's not like that exactly. It's more so like as if
just feel loose.
You're just uninhibited.
Yes, and it's as if acid and MDA met, but then all of a sudden you're so honest.
Interesting. So is there a psychedelic component to it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's like it's a journey. It's like a 10 to 12 hour journey where you're feeling amazing, and you won't sleep essentially.
Yeah.
But you're not like in your head. You're in your body.
You're not like tripping.
You're not
really.
tripping, but you're almost like wanting to be on the floor and play.
So is this what
That sounds
the
rad.
government used in like Vietnam War era because they were using LSD and LSD-like substances for truth serums? Was
Yes.
LSA like the thing that they had pushed out?
The Hawaiian wood rose seeds, the extract from it, the compound was what was used specifically to do that. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They still do it apparently. I don't know.
I'm sure they're still doing
I'm not
something.
saying-
I'm sure they do all kinds of crazy shit.
Definitely did some stuff. Okay, so LSA, what other experiences have been, I guess psychedelic wise, have been sort of groundbreaking for you?
Yeah. So I'll say that was the most, and then actually I hadn't taken it until this year, but previously for that I hadn't taken it for 10 years. So 10 years ago I took it.
Oh wow.
And I had this experience where I was speaking to another being without speaking for 10 hours. I know that sounds crazy. And this same person
Sounds
brought
awesome.
me
It
to
sounds
Austin. And then
It brought you to Austin.
she brought me to Austin, this person, that we were having this dialogue without talking.
Well,
And we were in different tents. It was at a Nako concert. It was crazy.
Cool.
And it literally, I left my family, left my life, and it was because of this medicine.
did you then talk to her in the 3D aspect?
So it's
in the
funny.
3D
It's
realm
funny.
afterwards?
Like we connected on a spirit level and on a physical level, and it was like she and I had like an experience where our souls had probably connected, and I don't know, but like it was like this thing that was we were teaching each other all sorts of life lessons very quickly, like on a quantum field. And I was like, holy shit, I can't be doing this life. And that's kind of what brought me to Austin, actually. Hawaiian woodrows.
Yeah, that sounds. That's, so what? Like, do you need to think about the set and setting as much as you would with like LSD, or you can be a little more loose?
Honestly, I didn't know anything until I took it the first time. If I would have done it again, I probably would have had a much more intentional set and setting.
Okay.
You know, because it was like that trip totally like was amazing and beautiful, but also shell shocking, you know, in a really beautiful way. It helped me like talk to my intuition in some ways, which is cool.
So LSA, what other?
I've done the ayahuasca.
Yeah.
I also am a Wachuma person. I do share Wachuma. I love Wachuma.
Describe that again.
That's San Pedro cactus.
Oh yeah.
So like ayahuasca's grandmother,
Mhm.
Wachuma's grandfather. And so when you do Wachuma in microdoses, it's like focus, clarity, as if you got your ancestors behind you just patting on your back. When you take a little bit more of it, it's like as if your grandparents are picking you up on your shoulders and life is just amazing. And then when macrodosing and you do ceremony with it, it's like you go through all your wounding. So any part of your soul's wounding that you need to release from your body, it can be pretty painful, but it's amazing.
Microdosing. So what would be the amount for microdosing?
I would say between 250 to 750 milligrams. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We had some Wachuma growing I planted it, but it was growing in our backyard, and the landscapers tore it up. I was very upset. Very
It is
upsetting.
upsetting. I would be very sad.
Very
about that.
upsetting day. Yeah. But I loved Wachuma. It was I've only experienced it once in Washington, and I had this. We did a ceremony and then went out into the park and just there's this beautiful park called Discovery Park in Seattle, and it's everything you would want in a park. It's got ocean, it's got big open plains and forests, and it's like you would just transport from one environment to another, and you just keep moving.
I want to go there.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. And it's funny. It's built on it used to be a military base. So there's like a whole underground area. And sometimes you'll be walking and you're like, oh, this is hollow underneath.
Wow.
So there's some history there.
Yeah.
There's some energy moving around for sure.
Powerful.
But it's a beautiful park. And I did this ceremony with some friends and we drank Wachuma, and it was the most grounding experience. I felt like I had super strength and just an insane amount of stamina. I just took my shoes off and we just ran barefoot through the woods for hours.
Yes.
And there was like these trees that I've tried to climb in the past. I couldn't get all the way to the top. Took the Wachuma just like a monkey, just
Yep.
immediately to the top, no problem. And I just felt like the trees were, like you said, the grandfather, grandmother just holding you. The trees were just holding me. The ground was holding me. You just want to roll in the dirt, but you're not tripping really.
No,
Like, you're just so like I was so clear.
Yes.
I could drive a car. I could do math problems. I could do anything. I just felt so locked in.
Yeah,
It was
and
incredible.
I love it, and I love even the way I think about it is like alchemy,
Mhm.
right? It's all alchemical. Like even a substance. When we think about a substance as if we're builders and painters, even food as that. What is the plant doing on a physical chemical level? When we put cactus in our body, what does cactus do? It like grabs energy. It absorbs water. It also, in the purpose, it also absorbs toxins. Right. So all of a sudden, when you're on it, it kind of starts to absorb certain things that we're kind of maybe paying attention to that we don't necessarily need to. That's kind of how it works on the ancestral stuff. So it literally like heals our body in a physical level where we're no longer like carrying these things as we're climbing the tree because we're now free of it. It's pretty magical.
Yeah, you're light.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. I've never considered that, but you're right. Cactus is like it absorbs and cleans to a degree.
Totally.
So when you consume that, it's doing that inside your body.
100%.
It's storing energy like it does with water. Wow, fascinating.
It's powerful. Yeah, and it cleanses you too. It's like, wow. You go to the bathroom the next day, you're like, okay.
That's for sure.
Damn, we got to try that.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like
Well, it sounds like
I have some.
Neil's the guy.
We actually serve it at the lounge, so if you come by, I'll get you.
you serve it at the lounge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you mix it in the cacao drinks?
No, we have it in a little jar, and you can ask for it. Yeah. So as a donation,
What's
share
the legality?
Wachuma is it's technically legal as a plant.
Right.
It's about intention and outcome and not outcome, intention, and then also, if you're a plant medicine holder like we are, we can share it. We're not selling it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then what's the dosing with that? Like, because it's coming in a paste, or is it
Powder.
okay?
You can get it in
and
a paste.
just measure it out to.
Yeah, we use a scale. Yeah. It's like 500 milligrams. It's a
Okay.
little scale.
And it comes in like a
Comes in
gram total.
Comes in 30 grams.
30 grams.
Yeah.
Okay, so like 500 to 750, you said.
Milligrams you'd take. Yeah.
Yeah. And could you just like put it in your cacao and mix it up?
Yeah.
And
Totally. Even your coffee.
I'm doing that.
That's a good combo.
I'm doing that tomorrow.
Wachuma, cacao, psilocybin.
Yeah,
I would do the psilocybin later or before.
Yeah.
Like when you're on Wachuma, you kind of want to just have that in the cacao. But that's my personal thing.
makes sense. Yeah. Cool. We'll try it and wake surf tomorrow and be out in nature.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, Wachuma cacao seems like a
What kind of
amazing combo.
What kind of boat are y'all going on?
I'm not sure. We rented I don't know, like from ATX Wake Surf.
Okay.
And I think it comes from Big Tex Boats, and you get like a guide, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, and then
Very
we go
cool.
out there, and we're like super beginners. So
Okay.
yeah, we just go out there for like 3-4 hours.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, if you got a wake surf club, let us know.
I will. I know some people who do go. I'll let you know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fun. I want to do more of it for sure.
It's so nice. Just being out in the water.
Yeah.
And also it's low risk of injury.
It is.
Well,
Except
tell
for
that
me.
to Neil, buddy.
He just wasn't present.
Yeah, I was learning how to become present. It was a process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forced you into presence.
That's right. It totally did.
It's also cool to be like, to ride in the wave and be like, I've always tried to surf, and surfing in general is so difficult
Yeah.
for me. But I feel like you get some of that same experience, and I don't know, lake energy is just so cool.
I love it. It's safer too than the ocean.
Yeah, way
Much
safer.
safer than the ocean.
No reef,
Yeah.
no sharks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Totally. Unless it's gators, but that's
Yeah.
not happening here.
And you can do it longer. Like
Yeah.
if you're good, you can ride for 20, 30 minutes.
Totally.
You don't have to stop.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I've done a lot of the surfing and I love it. It's so much fun. I grew up in Minnesota. We lived on a lake, and my best friend had a wake setter, and we literally spent and he had lights on it. So we'd spend the day and night on the lake. It was
Nice.
crazy.
Night
Most of our money
surfing.
was in gas.
Yeah, for sure.
Nighttime wake surfing sounds
So
pretty
much
sick.
fun. Yeah.
I always love to ask this. Do you have any places around or outside Austin you love to just go and reflect?
Yeah.
Like
I
just
do.
cabins or little spots you
I got
really
spots.
love?
I actually take people too,
Oh.
as well. And I'm going to start again. The hot springs. Have you guys been to the hot
No,
springs?
where are the hot springs?
There's a hot springs about an hour away. And they're private right now. They're going to be opening to the public soon, but I have a code and I'll give it to y'all if you want to go.
Cool.
It's $330 for 3.5 hours. And it's these beautiful natural hot springs, healing waters, been around since the early 1900s. Used to be for children, healing their bones and all sorts of things.
Amazing.
But yeah, that place is where I go. I used to take people there once a week for years, and I'm starting again. I stopped a little bit this last year, but I'm going to start again.
Is it $330 like as a group?
Yeah, so you can bring up to 6 people with that, and additional people up to 20 for $60 per person, additional to the $330.
Cool. Yeah, we should get a little train going out there. And
Oh yeah, let's go out there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it. And I take Cacao out there. We take some psilocybin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you do? Like you
All sorts
do
of
like
stuff.
ceremonies out there with
Yeah,
people?
for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Oh yeah, that'd be super fun.
I've done an overnight there. I rented it for overnight and the whole day. I've done my birthdays there. Like, yeah, that's so much fun.
How far out of town is it?
It's 44 miles,
Okay.
an hour.
super
Not bad.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonzales, it's called. The town.
Gonzales.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a beautiful park right next door that's like literally, it has the most wildlife that all of Texas, the most diverse wildlife.
Wow.
So it's called Palmetto Springs, Palmetto State Park.
I've heard of it.
You can camp there for $12 and it's amazing. It's really good. I go there, I camp there sometimes too. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, we've been looking for, I really wanted a place to get out in nature and like just disconnect for like 2-3 days. Like it's the best way to get creative again. And, you know, sometimes you just need a detox from the city.
I
I love the city, but it's just, the energy's a lot sometimes.
It is. And my goal is to get out of the city. Like I want to have a place here, but most of the time I spend it in either Dripping or Wimberley, or I love that area, the hill country too. It's
Same.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the goal.
Well, any other future products, projects you haven't told us about?
Right now we're launching our ambassador affiliate program for Third Eye Cacao. We're hiring a fractional CMO right now. So he's doing all the marketing and teaching us how to do that. Really doing a lot more e-commerce. I've got a beautiful product called Coherence Broth, which has got colostrum, miso, grass-fed butter, and mushrooms too. And it's got truffle salt. And it's a soup that's good for lymphatic drainage when you're fasting.
Wow.
And it has 5-year aged ginseng as well as shilajit. So it's good for blood flow. It's good for when your body's wanting to not eat, but still get the nutrients and the food.
And there's no calories?
There's calories,
Okay.
but it's very little. And it's just the right amount of nutrients that you need. So it's good stuff. And then what else? I highly recommend coming to our party that we're having. We're an overnight party with some plant medicine this October 31st at the lounge.
Oh,
shit.
cool.
We're activating a bunch of
Thursday?
spaces. It's a Thursday.
Cool.
Thursday to Friday. We're getting food catered by the well. We're getting all sorts of amazing things. Ice bath, sauna, a cowboy pool. Someone's going to be doing rebirthing practices. It's like a beautiful thing where you go underwater. And
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With Micah? Or
No.
no? Okay.
No. This is Washington.
Okay, yeah. So this is going to be a cool event. There's going to be something else there that I didn't talk about, which is MDA, sassafras, which is like a beautiful legal version of MDMA. Kind of makes you super happy and in your oxytocin waves. Microdose of that. So that's going to be optional.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I hope you guys can
And
come
it's
to that party.
Halloween night?
Yeah.
Cool.
That sounds super cool.
Yeah.
How many people? So it's overnight. So how do you just crash on the floor?
Yeah, you can bring your sleeping bag. I mean, people are probably not going to sleep much.
probably, yeah, probably.
But there's going to be a room for people
Sleeping bag for laying down.
to cuddle and relax
Cool.
and downregulate. There's going to be massage healer tables. There's going to be people doing TVM, which I think I told you about, which is the triple vagal method. It helps people co-regulate and develop a secure attachment with themselves, become more vagally toned. So
Well, how does that work?
you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
a mystery.
it's like in the movie Avatar
Uh-huh.
when
They connect to the tree?
Yeah, when the being and
Oh,
that thing connect, and then you're flying. Think about that on a human level when someone connects with you in a way that you've never been touched before, and allow your mind to relax in such a way you're in the quantum field, and all of a sudden you let go of all this stuff. And it's like filled with oxytocin. You feel so good.
Sounds hot.
Yeah, it's hot. So
I'm in.
that's why we got the ice bath. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, to cool you off.
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have to check it out.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Dude, Neil, thank you so much for coming out, man. So give us a little more info on where people can find you? How do they come to the lounge? How
If
can
you
they
ever want to
connect with
work,
you?
yes, if you want to work with me directly, I actually do a lot of this hands-on work myself. NeilRyanDumra.com or thirdeyetonic.com. Otherwise, for the cacao, it's Third Eye Cacao, THIRD or 3RD, either way. And then if you're in Austin, Third Eye Lounge, come by. They're separate companies, actually. So the yoga business and the cacao business are separate, but we're all kind of doing things together. So yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I love being on your show. You guys are amazing. I love your energy, and I'd love to take some mushrooms with y'all at some point.
I think that's going to be happening in the future.
Totally. Awesome.
Cheers,
All right.
brother.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Later, spores.